Lack of empathy is one of the most defining traits of an evil person. It is the absence of concern, understanding, or emotional connection to others. While most people naturally feel sympathy when they see someone in pain, an individual who lacks empathy remains indifferent. They do not feel remorse for their actions, nor do they care about how their words or behavior affect those around them. This trait makes them dangerous because it allows them to hurt others without hesitation. They may betray, manipulate, or deceive without a second thought, simply because they do not experience guilt or compassion. This emotional emptiness enables them to exploit others without feeling any discomfort. Such individuals often view emotions as weaknesses rather than essential human qualities. They cannot understand why others feel hurt or upset, and instead of offering comfort, they dismiss or mock those emotions. If someone comes to them for support during a difficult time, they might respond with coldness, irritation, or even amusement. They might downplay the suffering of others, making statements like, "It's not a big deal," or "You're too sensitive." Rather than offering a shoulder to lean on, they prefer to belittle others, making them feel weak for experiencing emotions at all. Their lack of empathy extends beyond personal relationships and into their interactions with society. They may show no concern for the suffering of others, whether it is a stranger going through hardship or a close friend in distress. Because they do not feel guilt, they have no issue taking advantage of people for their own gain. They may manipulate, lie, or deceive without hesitation, knowing that their actions will cause harm. To them, others are merely tools to be used. If they need something, they will not hesitate to take it, regardless of the cost to others. They may pretend to care when it serves their interest, but their concern is never genuine. The moment someone is no longer useful, they discard them without a second thought. They do not form genuine attachments because they lack the emotional capacity to do so. People who lack empathy also have difficulty understanding the perspectives of others. They cannot put themselves in someone else's shoes because they are entirely focused on their own desires, needs, and emotions. If someone tries to explain their pain, they are met with indifference or even annoyance. In situations where a normal person would feel guilty or ashamed for their actions, they feel nothing. They may even turn the situation around, making themselves the victim or blaming the person they hurt. Instead of apologizing or taking responsibility, they justify their actions and continue their harmful behavior. Without empathy, there is no moral compass guiding their decisions. Right and wrong mean little to them because they do not feel the emotional weight of their actions. While most people hesitate before hurting someone because of the emotional consequences, an evil person has no such internal struggle. They do what benefits them, regardless of the pain it causes others. If someone gets in their way, they see it as an inconvenience rather than a moral dilemma. They have no emotional barriers stopping them from using or harming others, making them particularly dangerous. Their inability to connect with others on an emotional level also makes them incapable of forming deep, meaningful relationships. While they may pretend to care about their friends, family, or romantic partners, their actions eventually reveal the truth. They are emotionally unavailable, incapable of genuine love or affection. They may imitate emotions to blend in, but their responses lack sincerity. If they offer kindness, it is often calculated, designed to serve their own interests, rather than coming from a place of genuine care. Because they do not feel guilt, they see no reason to change. They are fully aware of their actions, but feel no need to correct their behavior. Those who try to appeal to their emotions or seek an apology will find themselves disappointed, as an evil person does not believe they have done anything wrong. Manipulation and deception are powerful tools used by individuals who thrive on control and exploitation. These people are skilled at twisting reality to serve their own interests, making it difficult for others to recognize the truth. They deceive with ease, weaving lies so convincingly that even those who suspect them may begin to doubt their own perceptions. They know exactly how to manipulate emotions, using guilt, fear, and false promises to bend others to their will. Their words and actions are carefully crafted, ensuring they always have the upper hand in any situation. They can make themselves appear as victims even when they are the ones causing harm, shifting blame onto others to avoid taking responsibility. This ability to control the narrative allows them to continue their deceit without being exposed, making them dangerous to those who trust them. They often study the weaknesses and vulnerabilities of those around them, using this knowledge to manipulate situations in their favor. If they sense that someone is kind-hearted or empathetic, they will exploit that kindness to get what they want. They play on emotions, making others feel guilty for questioning them or standing up for themselves. They may use phrases like, "I can't believe you think I would do something like that," or "You're overreacting, you always assume the worst." These statements are designed to make the other person doubt their own instincts, allowing the manipulator to continue their deception without resistance. Over time, their victims may begin to feel confused, questioning their own judgment, and relying on the manipulator for reassurance. This psychological control ensures that the manipulator remains in power, making it difficult for others to break free from their influence. Another key aspect of manipulation and deception is gaslighting, a tactic used to make people doubt their reality. A manipulator will deny facts, rewrite history, or distort the truth to create confusion. They may insist that events never happened or that conversations were misunderstood, making their victims feel as though they are losing their grip on reality. This slow erosion of confidence forces people to second-guess themselves, making them more susceptible to further manipulation. The more a person relies on the manipulator's version of reality, the easier it becomes for the manipulator to control them. They carefully construct situations that leave their victims feeling isolated, ensuring that no one else can challenge their lie. Lies and deception are not always obvious, as manipulators know how to blend truth with falsehoods. They provide just enough honesty to appear trustworthy, making their lies harder to detect. They may pretend to care, showing concern when it benefits them, but their actions rarely match their words. If confronted, they shift the focus onto the accuser, turning the situation around to avoid accountability. They may claim that they are being unfairly targeted or that others are trying to make them look bad. This tactic forces the other person to defend themselves rather than continuing to expose the manipulator's lies. By keeping others on the defensive, they maintain their control over the situation, ensuring that their true nature remains hidden. These individuals are highly skilled at creating illusions, making people believe in a reality that does not exist. They can make themselves seem generous, kind, and understanding while secretly working against those who trust them. Their deception is so well crafted that even those closest to them may have difficulty seeing the truth. They carefully manipulate perceptions, ensuring that any negative attention is redirected elsewhere. They use charm and persuasion to win people over, gaining their trust before revealing their true motives. Those who fall into their trap often feel trapped, unable to break free from the web of lies that surrounds them. The longer someone is exposed to this manipulation, the harder it becomes to recognize the deception. The manipulator ensures that by the time the truth is uncovered, the damage has already been done. Some individuals find pleasure in the suffering of others, a trait that sets them apart from those who simply lack empathy. These people are not just indifferent to the pain of others, they actively enjoy it. Whether through emotional, psychological, or even physical harm, they take satisfaction in knowing they have caused distress. They may smile when someone is struggling, find amusement in another person's misfortune, or go out of their way to create chaos in someone's life. This is not accidental or a moment of poor judgment. It is intentional and calculated. They do not seek to resolve conflicts or help others through hardship. Instead, they use suffering as a source of entertainment, power, or control. Their actions are often cruel, yet they justify them by blaming their victims or making it seem as though the other person deserved it. These individuals are often drawn to positions where they can exercise power over others, as it gives them more opportunities to create suffering without facing consequences. They may take advantage of weaker individuals, enjoying the sense of superiority that comes from making others feel small or helpless. In relationships, they might provoke arguments just to watch the emotional reaction of their partner. In friendships, they may sabotage others' happiness, spread rumors, or manipulate situations to cause conflict. At work, they might humiliate colleagues, take credit for others' work, or use passive-aggressive tactics to make someone's job unbearable. No matter the environment, their goal remains the same: to gain satisfaction from the pain they inflict on others. A key sign of someone who enjoys suffering is their reaction to the struggles of others. Instead of offering support or concern, they may mock, dismiss, or even escalate the situation. If a friend or family member is dealing with a personal loss, instead of showing sympathy, they might downplay the tragedy or use it as an opportunity to manipulate them further. They may say things like, "Everyone goes through this. Stop being dramatic." Or maybe if you had done things differently, this wouldn't have happened. Their words are designed to deepen the pain rather than provide comfort, revealing their true nature. Another common tactic they use is creating suffering where none existed before. They might fabricate lies to ruin someone's reputation, pit people against each other to create conflict, or provoke reactions just to enjoy watching the fallout. When confronted, they deny their role or act as if they are innocent, sometimes even pretending to be the victim. They may say, "I was just joking," or "You're too sensitive," turning the blame onto the person they hurt. This not only allows them to escape responsibility, but also allows them to continue their behavior without consequences. Their enjoyment of suffering is not limited to people they dislike. Even those closest to them, family members, friends, or romantic partners, can become their targets. They may push boundaries, test limits, and escalate their cruelty over time. The more control they have over someone, the more satisfaction they derive from seeing them break down emotionally or physically. It is not about revenge or specific conflicts. It is about the thrill of seeing others in pain. Even when their victims beg for mercy, show kindness, or try to resolve the situation, they remain unmoved because the suffering itself is their goal. Because they find joy in suffering, they are unlikely to change. There is no reasoning with them, no appeal to their conscience, because they lack the ability to feel guilt or remorse. They see no need to stop their behavior, as they do not view it as wrong. In their mind, pain is simply a tool, a means to an end, or even a form of amusement. Those who encounter such individuals must recognize the danger early, set firm boundaries, and protect themselves from becoming another source of entertainment in their twisted game. Some individuals refuse to take responsibility for their actions, no matter how obvious their wrongdoing may be. They shift blame onto others, make excuses, or manipulate the situation to avoid facing consequences. Instead of acknowledging their mistakes, they twist the narrative, making themselves appear as the victim. Even when confronted with undeniable proof, they will find a way to justify their behavior, convincing themselves and others that they were not at fault. This refusal to take responsibility is not simply a defense mechanism, but a deliberate tactic used to escape accountability and maintain control over those around them. They often use blame shifting to redirect attention away from their own behavior. If they are caught lying, they might say, "You made me do it by not trusting me." If they hurt someone emotionally, they might claim, "I wouldn't have said that if you hadn't provoked me." They never accept that their actions were wrong. Instead, they place the burden on others. This constant deflection makes it nearly impossible to hold them accountable, because no matter what happens, they always have an excuse ready. They have mastered the art of twisting reality, making others feel guilty for even questioning them. Another common tactic is playing the victim. When someone calls them out on their behavior, they act as if they are the ones being mistreated. If they are criticized for being dishonest, they may say, "Everyone always blames me for everything. No one understands me." If they fail to fulfill a responsibility, they may claim, "I had too much on my plate and no one offered to help me." By shifting the focus onto themselves, they avoid dealing with the real issue and instead seek sympathy. People around them may begin to feel sorry for them, forgetting that they were the ones who caused the problem in the first place. They also minimize the consequences of their actions, making it seem as though what they did was not a big deal. If they break a promise, they might say, "It wasn't that important anyway." If they hurt someone's feelings, they may respond with, "You're being too sensitive." They downplay everything, making the other person feel as though they are overreacting. This not only allows them to escape responsibility, but also conditions others to accept their behavior without question. Over time, people may stop calling them out, knowing that any confrontation will only lead to more excuses and manipulation. Gaslighting is another tool they use to avoid responsibility. They make others question their own memory or perception, convincing them that things did not happen the way they remember. If someone accuses them of breaking a rule or making a mistake, they may respond with, "That never happened," or "You must be imagining things." This psychological manipulation can make their victims feel confused, doubtful, and even guilty for bringing up the issue in the first place. By making others question themselves, they ensure that they never have to answer for their action. This pattern of behavior creates a toxic cycle where they continue to harm others without ever facing consequences. Because they never take responsibility, they never learn from their mistakes or feel the need to change. Those who try to hold them accountable are met with denial, deflection, or manipulation, making it nearly impossible to get an honest admission of guilt. Their unwillingness to take responsibility makes it difficult to trust them, as they can never be relied upon to own up to their actions. Their relationships suffer because no matter what happens, they refuse to acknowledge their role in any problem. The people around them are left feeling frustrated, helpless, and emotionally drained, constantly forced to clean up the mess that they refuse to acknowledge. False kindness is one of the most deceptive traits of an evil person because it allows them to blend in and avoid suspicion. They present themselves as kind, generous, and caring, but their actions are driven by selfish motives rather than genuine compassion. They know that appearing good earns trust, admiration, and influence, which they use to manipulate those around them. Their kindness is carefully calculated, designed to serve their interests, rather than to help others out of sincerity. They might offer favors with hidden strings attached, act considerate only when it benefits them, or pretend to care while secretly working against those they claim to support. Their ability to appear kind makes them especially dangerous because their true nature remains hidden until the damage is already done. They use false kindness as a tool to gain trust and establish a good reputation. They might be overly generous in public, donating money, helping people in need, or acting selfless when others are watching. However, this kindness disappears when there is nothing to gain. In private, they may be manipulative, cruel, or indifferent, but they make sure no one sees this side of them. They carefully control how they are perceived, ensuring that others see only the positive image they project. If someone calls them out on their true nature, they use their reputation as a shield, saying things like, "How could I be a bad person when I do so much for others?" This allows them to escape accountability because people find it hard to believe that someone so seemingly kind could be capable of harm. Their kindness often comes with an expectation of something in return. If they do a favor, they expect loyalty, gratitude, or control over the person they helped. If someone does not repay their kindness in the way they expect, they become resentful, showing that their actions were never selfless to begin with. They might remind people of what they have done for them, using guilt as a weapon to force compliance. If someone refuses to be controlled, they quickly withdraw their kindness and may even turn hostile. Their generosity is never about giving. It is about placing others in a position of debt so they can later use it to their advantage. They also use false kindness to manipulate emotions. They might act understanding and supportive when someone is vulnerable, gaining their trust and making them feel safe. Once they have secured that trust, they begin to use it against a person, exploiting their weaknesses, secrets, or insecurities. They might pretend to be a good listener, offering advice and comfort, only to later use the information they gathered to manipulate or betray the person. This calculated approach makes it difficult for their victims to recognize the deception until it is too late. By the time they see the truth, they are often already emotionally or psychologically trapped, struggling to break free from the false sense of security that was created. If confronted, they become defensive, insisting that their kindness is genuine and that any doubts about their intentions are unfair. They may claim that others are being ungrateful, paranoid, or misinterpreting their actions. They paint themselves as the victim, making those who question them feel guilty for doubting their sincerity. They might even perform grand gestures of kindness to further convince people of their goodness, ensuring that their reputation remains intact. This cycle repeats, allowing them to continue their manipulation while maintaining the appearance of someone who only wants to help. Their false kindness makes them difficult to expose because people want to believe that good-hearted individuals exist. They take advantage of this, using deception to hide their true intentions. Those who recognize their act must be careful, as exposing them can provoke retaliation. The best way to protect oneself is to pay attention to inconsistencies in their behavior watching how they treat people when there is no reward involved. True kindness is consistent, expecting nothing in return, while false kindness reveals itself when it is no longer useful to the person displaying it. Protection is essential when dealing with individuals who possess manipulative, deceitful, or harmful traits, because their actions can leave lasting emotional, psychological, and even physical damage. Recognizing the need for protection is the first step in preventing oneself from becoming a victim of their schemes. These individuals do not change, nor do they feel remorse for their actions, so relying on them to develop empathy or accountability is futile. Instead, one must establish firm boundaries, trust their instincts, and take proactive measures to ensure their well-being. Protection does not mean responding with aggression, but rather developing the awareness and strength to avoid being controlled, manipulated, or harmed. Setting boundaries is one of the most effective forms of protection. Evil individuals thrive on breaking limits, whether through emotional manipulation, deception, or psychological control. They test the waters, seeing how much they can get away with before someone resists. If they notice that a person allows their boundaries to be crossed without consequence, they continue pushing further until they gain. It is crucial to establish firm limits early on and enforce them without hesitation. When they attempt to guilt trip, lie, or twist reality, refusing to engage with their tactics is the best defense. They rely on emotional reactions to fuel their games, but denying them that power weakens their influence. Trusting one's instincts is another powerful tool for protection. Many people ignore the warning signs of an evil person, either because they want to believe in the good in others or because they are manipulated into doubting their own judgment. However, the gut feeling that something is off should never be ignored. These individuals often present a charming or convincing exterior, but there are always inconsistencies in their action. Paying attention to the moments when their behavior does not align with their words can help identify their true nature before they cause harm. If someone constantly makes another person feel drained, confused, or uneasy, it is a strong indication that protection is needed. Limiting emotional vulnerability with such individuals is also a crucial part of protection. Evil people exploit emotions, using kindness as a disguise to gain trust before turning it into a weapon. The less personal information they have access to, the less they can manipulate. They feed on the fears, weaknesses, and insecurities of others, using them as tools to maintain control. Being selective about what is shared with them and maintaining emotional distance can prevent them from gaining leverage. They may attempt to create situations that force emotional responses, but remaining composed and detached takes away their power. Another form of protection is surrounding oneself with supportive and trustworthy people. Evil individuals often isolate their victims, ensuring that they have no one to turn to for advice or validation. They create doubt, making their targets feel as though they are overreacting or misunderstanding situations. Having a strong support system provides clarity and reassurance, making it harder for manipulation to take hold. Seeking the perspectives of reliable friends, family members, or professionals can help confirm suspicions and offer guidance on how to handle the situation. No one should face such individuals alone, as their ability to manipulate is strongest when their target is vulnerable and isolated. Avoiding engagement whenever possible is one of the most effective ways to protect oneself. These individuals thrive on control, but without access to someone's emotions or life, their influence weakens. Disengaging from unnecessary interactions, refusing to react to provocation, they may attempt to retaliate when they realize their control is slipping. But standing firm in self-protection ensures that their tactics lose effectiveness. Understanding the importance of protection is not about living in fear, but about recognizing the need to guard one's well-being against those who seek to destroy.